Discipline shapes identity. The Japanese work ethic transcends time and borders.
Discipline is not merely a means to an end, it is the mold of identity. In Japan, a culture of precision, perseverance, and quiet excellence has transcended both time and borders to become a global symbol of dedication.
When discipline becomes habit, it ceases to be a burden and becomes a deep expression of self, a mark of both personal and collective identity across cultures.
Discipline does not suppress individuality, it unlocks deeper identity and fosters lasting influence across all cultures.
Discipline is often seen as restrictive, yet in Japan, it has evolved into a cultural force shaping both personality and professionalism.
This article explores how the Japanese ethic of discipline shapes identity and extends its influence beyond national boundaries, combines sociological research, business observations, and intercultural comparisons.
Japanese work discipline fosters cohesion, responsibility, and a national brand admired worldwide.
Discipline is the thread that weaves together Japan's cultural fabric from the individual to the collective, from business to society.
In Japan,
discipline is not merely regulation, it is a way of life.
From punctual trains to meticulous work ethic, actions are guided by self-imposed standards. Tokyo at 7:02 am is unlike anywhere else in the world.
Here, there's no need to check the clock, you simply trust the train will arrive on time, down to the very second. This precision is not driven by fear of penalty or rigorous enforcement.
It stems from within each citizen, a shared belief in both personal and collective responsibility.
The orderly cues, the silent movements, the unspoken gestures all signal a profound discipline that feels invisible, yet is everywhere. In Japan, discipline is not control, it is choice.
To be punctual is not to obey, but to align with what's right.
When you witness a train arriving precisely on time, you don't just see engineering, you see a society built on self-respect, in a synchronization, and mutual regard.
In such a place, time is no longer a mechanism of regulation, it becomes a cultural contract. An OECD study shows that Japanese workers clock among the longest hours globally, yet report low error rates and high job satisfaction.
In Japan, discipline is not merely behavioral, it is the thread that binds generations.
From school children walking alone to workers bowing after every shift, every gesture carries an awareness. My actions affect others. Discipline is not imposed from above, it is cultivated from within, as a facet of one's character. It is embedded in education, embedded in workplaces, embedded in how the Japanese relate to the world. That is why Japan's cultural identity is not forged by slogans or commands, but by small, repeated habits that create harmony, trust, and humility.
Discipline becomes temperament, a quality that cannot be bought or faked, only refined through time.
The phrase gaman, endurance, embodies Japanese work ethos, where emotions are restrained in favor of duty. The Japanese do not exhibit strength in loud declarations, they reveal it in silent resilience. From the Edo period to post-Fukushima recovery, the philosophy of gaman, to endure, persist, and refrain from complaint has anchored the national psyche. Gaman is not submission, it is the regulation of emotion in service of duty and order. In a modern world often obsessed with emotional expression, gaman stands as the counterpoint, a quiet but enduring force. It helps individuals survive crises without inner disintegration.
In Japanese society, gaman is not a private virtue, it is a collective safeguard against chaos. This is why, during earthquakes or economic collapse, the Japanese can queue, support one another, and recover not through shouting but through organized silence.
Each individual is a cog in a collective, and discipline enables them to function in synchrony, efficient, yet humane.
In Japan, simple tasks like folding towels, labeling products, or sealing packages are not dismissed, they are performed as rituals.
Whether brewing tea, crafting sushi, or engineering robots, the Japanese share a common ethos, to work as if creating art. There are no small jobs, only great approaches.
This arises from the spirit of kodawari, an obsession with detail, even when no one is watching.
In a fast consumption world that glorifies speed, Japan walks the opposite path, valuing process over outcome.
As a result, Japanese products are not only precise, they carry soul. Because when work becomes ritual, the worker transmits not just skill but emotion.
When Western firms adopt Japanese work models, they're often struck by its quiet efficiency, a strength rooted in inner discipline.
In many cultures, discipline is enforced by rule. In Japan, it is upheld by honor.
No need for surveillance cameras or lengthy regulations. Japanese people understand that breaking rules damages the group.
Children learn self-management from kindergarten. Employees tidy their desks without being asked.
Here, discipline is not a burden, it is part of one's identity.
It does not restrict freedom, it makes freedom responsible. When you respect yourself and others, control becomes unnecessary, self-regulation takes its place.
This is what enables Japan to function efficiently while preserving humanity. Japanese discipline arises not from external pressure but inner cultivation like kendo, where every strike mirrors the soul.
Discipline doesn't just define Japanese society, it is Japan's invisible export to the world. From Kaizen in continuous improvement to just-in-time in supply chains, global corporations replicate not only Japanese technology, but its operational mindset.
What they ultimately learn is this: Japanese products are exceptional not solely due to machinery, but because the people behind them embody discipline.
A Toyota car is trusted not just for its high-tech assembly line, but because every bolt is fastened with full human attention.
Japanese discipline is a value that can be taught, adapted, and optimized anywhere provided people understand. Sustainable efficiency starts from within, not from commands. This is where discipline transcends borders, it becomes a global ethic.
Thus, Japanese discipline doesn't merely build performance, it sculpts national identity and sustains a timeless global brand.
When people mention Japan, they don't just think of robots, Shinkansen, or advanced technology.
They think of how the Japanese bow with humility, maintain silence in public spaces, and work in quiet dedication. These seemingly minor details are, in fact, the very reasons Japan earns global respect, not because of economic power, but because of collective character. Discipline, in this context, is not confinement, it is the highest form of responsible freedom.
It doesn't erase individuality, it amplifies shared identity. And when discipline becomes a way of life, it doesn't just generate results, it builds a national image of reliability.
Japan doesn't declare its values, it lives them daily. That's why Japanese discipline doesn't stop at its borders, it lives on in the world's admiration. Discipline is no longer a dry rule, it is the story of a people who harmonize tradition and modernity, spirit and action. Japan does not preach discipline through doctrine, they transmit it through daily rituals. A train arriving on time, a worker cleaning his machine like polishing a sword, or silence in a post-disaster queue.
In these seemingly mundane acts, identity is etched and trust is cultivated.
Discipline does not constrain individuality, it is the unspoken language of collective maturity.
In today's rushed world, Japan's lesson remains: to be respected, first live with discipline.
Reflect on yourself, in how you work, behave, and interact. Does a form of self-chosen, sustained discipline exist within you? Discipline doesn't need to shout, it needs to endure.
If you believe a small act can shape identity, start today. Do one task with your fullest attention. And if this article sparks something in you, don't hesitate to share it, for it might be the tiny drop of ink that inspires someone else's disciplined identity.